Hello dear friend, Marco for you Perfumes. Today episode 137 and today I'm reviewing two fragrances by the house of Jacques Bogart, two great fragrances. So please don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe of course. For the first time in 2023, tap the bell. So every time there's a new release, you will be informed. Okay, this is it. This is the two Jacques Bogart that I will review today. I love them both, but this one is a masterpiece, in my opinion, my humble opinion. So this is the bottles, but first I got only the box of the Silver Scent. The first one is Silver Scent by Jacques Bogart, EDT concentration. I bought both of them, each one 20 euros, $20 for 100 ml, 3.33 ounces. EDT concentration, the basically box nothing special. On the other hand, I love the presentation, especially the bottle of the Jacques Bogart with the built-in cap. The atomizer is great on both of them. As you can see, I love them a lot. They are quite angular, but old style, but goodies. Atomizer, perfect. Very precise, not too much juice. Silver Scent. Silver Scent, a little bit better atomizer, strangely. Okay, so basically, first Silver Scent. This one, basically, also EDT, also $20. Silver Scent is basically an all-year fragrance. It was reformulated, much better than before. It's rare that I say that. I prefer the reformulated version, yes. Because the other one was a beast mode, but there was an aroma chemical that I hate inside. I really hate it. But now it's more palatable for my nose. I love it even. Let's say I like it. This one I love. And it's much better. It's less bold fragrance, a little bit more refined in my opinion. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a nice fragrance that I like. Okay, so basically, in my opinion, Silver Scent is a fragrance that was reformulated for good. It is for fall and winter. Eventually, you can pull it out in the spring, but only in the evening. Silver Scent was released in 2006. The genre is amber woody or sweet fruity. The perfumer, I don't have information about the perfumers. Bogart pour Homme, in the other hand, Bogart pour Homme was released in 2004. The perfumer basically is Maurice Roussel and Norbert Bijawi. Yeah, that's it, Norbert Bijawi. It was released, this one was released, if I'm not wrong, in 2004. It's even older, this one, the release. But this one is great, a great fragrance, in my opinion. If you're over 30, you will like it. So let's start with this one, the note of Silver Scent. Okay, on the top you got orange blossom, you got a synthetic lemon, you got in the heart lavender, cardamom, nutmeg, coriander, geranium, and rosemary, and in the base the famous lychee, a lychee that basically is more syrupy and reminds of a grape, of course, tonka bean, teakwood, and vetiver. The picture of this fragrance, picture of Silver Scent. Well, it was slightly reformulated, but for good. Yes, it's a good reformulation. It's rare that I say that. It's still synthetic, it's still long lasting, but it's not more beast mode, in my opinion. But it's less juvenile. It's a fruity, pleasant smell, not too much refined, and still a little bit bold, but not as the first release. The reformulation make it more versatile, in my opinion. Less clubbing targeted, less synthetic, less basically targeted for young crowd, for discotheque. The lychee grape condor is now much more nice, and it got a touch of lavender, lambdanum, woody note that are detectable, and the opening is a little bit metallic. That's why I guess they call it Silver Scent. The opening got a lemon basically opening that doesn't last too much and disappear very quick. The lychee grape combo is quite simplistic, but quite pleasant, quite syrupy. Not too much annoying now after reformulation, but still long lasting. and it dries down basically to a much better scent, in my opinion, than the first one that was released so many years ago. It's, in my opinion, more mature, a better composition, still powdery. You got a dry lavender still. The woody ambery, basically dry down, is very nice. More mature in my opinion, more finished, more rounded in my opinion also. But it's less air refreshener. That's why I didn't like when they released them. First, it was very powerful. It was smelling like air refreshener, because probably the aroma chemical that they used was very, very low quality, in my humble opinion, of course. But thanks to the reformulation now, strangely, I receive quite a few compliments for this one. Probably the lychee note, which resembled to a grape syrupy note. Yes, now it's a palatable scent. I love it. I think it's less polarizing now, in my opinion. The last thing on my skin, 6 hour, and on my shirt, 8 hour. I will give it a note of 9 out of 10. You need 4 to 5 sprays maximum, not more than that. Maybe 6 if it's very cold. In the summer, be light on the trigger. Projection, it's very good. 1.5 meter bubble around me for 1.5 hour, and I will give it a note of 7.5 out of 10. Sillage is nice, and I will give it a note of 7.5 out of 10. The occasion to wear it, it's an everyday fragrance, but you can eventually go clubbing with it if you go heavy on the spray, or in the gym if you light on the spray, and I'll give it a note of 7.5 out of 10. Demography, from 16 years old until 40 years old, and I'll give a note of 7 out of 10. Value proposition, 7 out of 10, because it's still a synthetic fragrance, but still nice to smell, nicer than the previous version, the non-reformulated. So the scent rating, I will give it the note of 7 out of 10, because it's quite pleasant to smell. Season, I think it's an old season, so I will give it a note of basically 8 out of 10. Compliment factor, I received a few compliments. I will give it a note of 7 out of 10. Similarities, of course, with the flankers. Silver Scent Intense, 90%, and Silver Scent Pure, 80% similar, but I prefer the Pure a little bit more, but it doesn't last too much compared to this one, of course. So this is it. So the note I will give for Silver Scent is 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Because it's a nice fragrance, still synthetic, but very pleasant, and for an everyday wear, it's perfect. Special, it's pleasant, it's fresh, it's sweet, it's an okay fragrance, much better than the one it was before, so much better after the reformulation. Okay, now I'm reviewing Bogart pour Homme. Bogart pour Homme, this one I really adore, okay? I don't know what to say more on this fragrance. I put it in many of my top 10 or top whatever. And this one I was really asking myself why it was so divisive, why it was so polarizing. Okay, it's a kind of barbershop scent, I get it, but it's more refined than that. But the younger crowd don't really love it or like it. The note on this one, basically, on the top you got lavender, bergamot. In the heart you got orange blossom, rose, lily of the valley. And in the base you got tonka bean, patchouli, cedar, oak moss, musk. Well, the picture of this fragrance, the picture of this great alternative to basically Amen Pur Havane by Thierry Mugler, it's a great fragrance. It resembles also to Nexus. It was also slightly reformulated. It's basically a tobacco honey combo fragrance with rose, with patchouli, with lavender, with vanilla, with basically floral note, and with some cherry syrupy note also that can barely detect, but it's there in the background. I love it a lot, really. And in the base, it's of course woody. This is for me a masterpiece. Yes, a masterpiece, but more mature, not for the younger crowd at all, from 30 years old until 80 years old. For me, it's quite nostalgic because it reminds me of a few fragrances that I will talk to you soon about. It's basically an alpha male fragrance, but still a little bit refined, to my opinion. It's more mature, sweet, kind of fragrance that we can call barbershop, but more refined, as I told you. It has vibes and resemble to a sweet version of basically Amen Pur Havane by Thierry Mugler. 70% similar in the dry down only, but I know you're gonna hate me for say that I prefer this one. I don't know. For me, it's more refined, less aggressive, more rounded, especially in the dry down. And yes, it's more mature for sure than the Pur Havane. I know it. But if you're over 30, you will probably prefer this one. However, everybody got a different taste. I personally love it a lot. It resembles it. It gives me also vibe of another fragrance that is very divisive, very polarizing. It gives me vibe of Lapidus pour Homme that I also review, but this one is more rounded, more classy in my opinion. Lapidus pour Homme, it resembles 55-60%, and it gives me of course vibe of Nexus by Xerjov, 70% similar. Yes, Bogart pour Homme is a little bit animalic. I get that, but what is wrong with being animalic in a fragrance? Not all fragrances have to be freshies. I love freshies, don't get me wrong, but this one is another kind of fragrance that you can appreciate. It's of course an old style fragrance, more classy, but still barbershop for sure. But it's a long lasting, very cheap fragrance, a real bang for your buck, a bargain. In my opinion, it's an underrated fragrance, trust me. $20, 20 euros, 100 ml, 3.33 ounces. Come on, you cannot go with that. On my skin, it lasts 6 hours. On my shirt, 9, sometimes 8, sometimes 9 hours, depending on the condition. Yes, I love it. The perfumer, one of the perfumer is Maurice Roussel, so it's basically a quality fragrance automatically. The last thing, 6 hours on my skin. I spray 4 times. 4 sprays, 2 on my body, 2 on my shirt. You can go until 5, no problem. And 9 hours on my shirt, and I will rate it 8.5 out of 10. The projection is great, 1.5 meter bubble around me for 2 hours, and I will rate it 9 out of 10. The sillage is great, and I will rate it 9 out of 10. Occasion to wear it, dressed up, casual, or you can eventually wear it on a daily basis in the fall and in the winter, and I will rate it 8 out of 10. Demography, over 30 until 80 years old. This kind of scent is very nostalgic for those who are basically over 40. And so the demography from 30 to 80 years old, and I will give it a note of 8 out of 10. Value proposition, 9 out of 10, because for the price you get quality fragrance. Less synthetic than other Bogart fragrance in my humble opinion, especially if you let it macerate. This one, I let it macerate. It's maybe my 4th or 5th bottle, but the last reformulation, I really love it, or the last batch. The scent rating for, I'm over 30, so I will give it a 9 out of 10. Trust me, it's beautiful. If you're not heavy on the trigger, if you spray more than 4-5 times, it will be too much. Compliment factor, I'll get just a few compliments by more mature ladies, and I will give it a note of 6.5 out of 10. Similarities, as I told you, Thierry Mugler Amen Pur Havane, 70 to 80%, but only in the dry down, it resembles also to basically Xerjov Nexus, 70% similar, and to basically Lapidus pour Homme, 55%, 60% maximum, also in the dry down, but a better version. So the note I will give on Bogart pour Homme is 9 out of 10. Yes, 9 out of 10. If you mature, go for this one. Buy it, $20, 20 euros. If you're not afraid of wearing some polarizing fragrance, but much less than Lapidus pour Homme, go for it. It lasts quite a long time. It's very affordable, and it will be beautiful in your collection. Thank you very much. It was episode 137. I was reviewing two great fragrances by the house of Jacques Bogart. Thank you very much. Bye bye.